What's going on, y'all? It's Gum TCG here, back again with another video, and today we have the EB01 leader tier list, and we got a whole lot of leaders. I'm gonna have to start slimming this down here in the future, but I'm gonna try and make this quick and easy for you. We got 5 tiers. We got tier 1, which is just gonna be your top decks dominating the meta, big presence at regional top cuts, and definitely the best decks in the room. We got tier 2, which is going to take up some more of that regional presence, but probably get beat out at the end of the day by some of these other tier 1 decks when it comes down to top cut. But if with the right pilot, I do think that these can top as well. We got Rogue. These are decks that will pop up at those events and stuff like that. Definitely something that's a little more competitive than your bad leaders, your fun, not competitive leaders. Definitely can still put up a fight, but will probably lose to the decks above it. And then we have fun but not competitive, pretty self-explanatory. These are fun decks that you could probably have a good time with at your locals. Maybe sneak out the win if you're really good with it, but I do think that these are a little less competitive than everything else. You're not going to see people taking these to regionals and stuff, and if you do, they're not going to get very far with them, in my opinion. And then we have trash. These are just leaders that I don't think that you should play. I think that they're just garbage leaders, and I don't really know why they were printed. But before we jump into this, I do want to shout out today's sponsor, and that's going to be Dueling Guard. If you haven't seen it, they dropped a new One Piece collection featuring a new Zoro box, a Luffy box, a Grand Line Treasures reprint, as well as their Nami binder reprint, a new Luffy binder, whole bunch of playmats, whole bunch of leader cards. It's absolutely insane. If you haven't checked it out and you're looking for a new box to keep your One Piece cards in, or a binder, anything like that, go check out the link in my description and use code GumGumTCG to get yourself a discount at checkout. Huh? You still aren't using Dueling Guard? Then you aren't using the best TCG accessories on the market. Dueling Guard makes the highest quality TCG deck boxes with the most stunning artwork I've ever seen. Their modular design allows for easy access to your decks and dice. They don't just make deck boxes, they also make the highest quality binders with side-loading pages to keep your expensive cards safe and protected. They also make high-quality playmats and now even sleeves. I personally use their sleeves on all of my cards and cannot go back to another sleeve after I've been using theirs. They are grippy and slick when you need them to be, and I have no doubts that my cards are protected in them. Gear up with Dueling Guard to protect your cards in style. Don't forget to use code GumGumTCG to get a discount at checkout. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this. Like I said, I'm going to try and keep this short, sweet, and concise. Not going to go too in-depth on every leader because we have 55 of them to cover. So starting off the bat, these are in no particular order, just whatever order my computer put them in. We got Sakazuki. This is tier 1. This is the best deck. I'm not going to stutter. That's the best deck in the room, and not really going to talk about it too much. You should know why this is the best deck. This leader's getting banned. It's absolutely powerhouse of a deck and will rock you if you don't know what you're doing against it and you're not playing another high level deck. Next we got Purple Luffy, and right now I do think Purple Luffy's good. It's just rogue. It's not something that is popping up at events or anymore. It just kind of has a hard time with some of these other decks. Yamato really slaps this deck around. Not that Yamato has a high representation, but it just loses to removal really badly sometimes, and just not the best deck anymore. I do see it coming back in the future, though, with the purple support we've been getting leaks of. Next, we got Enel. I think this is tier 1. I think that Enel is very, very strong. We'll see some good representation in this format, especially once Sokka's gone. But even before Sokka leaves, like, I think that this leader has a good chance in the meta. A bunch of new cards from EB gives it a nice boost, gives it some pieces it needed, and it only gets better from here. Next, we got Uta, and I think that this is going to be another tier 1 contender. I think that Uta's very, very strong. He can have a tough time with some of those removal-based decks at times, but Uta just generates so much resources that you can destroy their board, and they will put a new one up next turn without losing a card. Like, it's absolutely insane, and with the right pilot, I think that Uta can go very far. I will be ordering these in their power level, in my opinion, at least the ones at the top. Some of these other, I'm not going to really worry about. Rogue, fun, but competitive or trash, ordering them in any order. I think they're all kind of just chilling, but these I will put in order, and this is the order I've got it in for now. Next, we got the Zoro Sanji starter deck leader, and I think this is fun, but not competitive. I'm not going to put it in trash because I have seen some cool stuff with this. I do think it has potential in the future, but it's definitely something a little bit more fun. Next, we got Red Purple Uta, and I think that this is also fun but not competitive. I will probably get some Uta stands in the comments arguing with me about that, but I just don't see this leader as great. I think that it's okay. I think that it's lacking stuff that the green film cards have access to, and maybe if we get a purple-green film leader, we'll have something a little bit better there. Next, we got Yamato, and I'm going to put this in Tier 2. Yamato is very, very powerful. I think with the right pilot and the right deck list, this deck can take you very far, but without that, it still is very inherently strong and can definitely whoop up on some other decks if you don't know how to play against it right. Next, we got Hody Jones, and this is, I'm sorry, I said Sokka was the best deck in the room. I got to put Hody above it. Hody's always a W. If you play Hody Jones, you just win the match before it even starts, so we're just going to leave him there. Next, we got Perona. Perona is, I want to say Tier 2, but I think I'm going to put it at the top end of Rogue. Perona is very strong, but has this weakness against these other removal decks right now, and I think that's kind of the problem with it. It does get a little better in 07. There's a lot of tinkering with lists going on in the OCG right now, and it's starting to do some new cool stuff. But for now, in our format, until I see somebody topping with it like that, then I can't really say anything else. But it is a really cool deck, and I do think it has potential, especially once Sokka leaves. Next, we got red yellow Sabo. I almost said red black. Red yellow Sabo, and I do want to put this at... Man, I want to put it in Tier 2, but I'm going to put it at the top end of Rogue as well. This deck is very strong, but I feel like it's missing something. I need to test it a little bit more, but I feel like it's missing something. However, I do think that it is incredibly strong, especially for a structure deck leader. These ultimate decks always have really good leaders in them, and I'm excited to see the next one, but I do think Sabo is the second most powerful out of them right now, and the most powerful is going to be Luffy. This is going to be a Tier 1 contender. I do think that Black Yellow Luffy is Tier 1 for sure. Has really strong plays, really good board presence, can put some crazy pressure on, and can be really hard to deal with, but it does have some weaknesses, and that's bottom deck removal, which I think that Sokka and Red Purple Law being some of the most... in my opinion, what are going to be some of the most represented decks in the room, especially at Top Cut, makes this deck kind of fall. And that's all has a hard time with other things like Uta, a deck that puts up a lot of board presence, in my opinion. It can have a hard time getting through all of those blockers, and then they drop a kid on the field on top of it. It can be a tough time. Next, we got Reiju, and I'm going to put Reiju in Rogue. I think that Reiju is pretty good, but with Law being in the room, it's kind of hard for this deck to compete right now. However, it could still put up a fight against a lot of other decks, but just because Law is in the room, if you sit across a good Law player, Reiju usually loses every time. But I don't know, maybe Reiju will make a comeback one day. Next, we got Blue Yellow Ace, and I'm going to put this right below Sabo. I think that it's really strong, but it's missing something as well. I don't know what that is, but I think that it just needs a little more consistency, and it would be really, really strong. Next, we got Odin, and I'm going to put this in fun but not competitive. I think that this is a pretty cool, fun, strong leader. However, it's just not there yet. I think that if you're wanting to play a Wano leader, Yamato is the better choice, but definitely something fun to toy around with. If you haven't played with it, I definitely recommend it. Next, we got Moria. I'm going to put Moria at Tier 2. I think Moria is probably the top end of Tier 2. Very, very strong leader. Very consistent. Has very consistent results. But, yeah, I think that it's just having a hard time standing up to other decks in the room right now. Especially things like Black Yellow Luffy. Sokka can be tough for it. I feel like Anel could probably be a tough matchup for it as well. Next, we got Hannibal, and I think that this is also one of those fun but not competitive leaders, and same with Kyros. Those are also fun but not competitive leaders. I think that they might have potential down the road, but for right now, the support that they gave them in EB mixed with all the past support doesn't make them anything strong. I think that their leader effects are just a little lackluster, and like I said, I'm not going to order these fun but not competitive leaders just because it's going to take way too long. There's a lot of those. The next one to add to the list is Vivi. Fun but not competitive. I think that Vivi is just lacking something. It takes a little bit too much for the leader effect to kick in, you know. You kind of have to build a board, and then you could start using your leader effect every turn. I know that in OCG, they like to play this deck with like 6 costs and stuff. It's really cool, but it just can't stand up to leaders that can swing. That's the problem. Leaders that can swing will beat decks with leaders that can't swing almost every time. Next, we got a leader that can really swing, and that's Whitebeard. I'm going to be putting Whitebeard here in tier 2. I think it's better than Yamato. I think it might be a little less competitive than Moria, but if you got the right deck list and you're the right player, Whitebeard is always strong. I think that Whitebeard's just always going to have a presence in the room somewhere. Next, we got Iceberg, and I am going to put Iceberg in Rogue. It got a couple new cards in EB that actually make Iceberg good. So watch out for this deck. It's just, I think the thing holding it back is that it can't swing. Like I said, I'm not ordering Rogue as well. This is just a list that's going to grow. But yeah, I think that Iceberg just can't swing. That kind of holds it back. And if I were to rank it, it would be the bottom end of Rogue, but I still would put it in there because it's got like some great resource management tools now, and I think that that's what it was missing. Being able to pump out free 5-cost bodies every single turn and now have a resource management tool to go with it, I think that makes this great. Next, we got Purple Yellow Croc, and I'm also going to put this in Rogue. This got that new Oh Come My Way event as well as the Miss Wednesday, and both those cards are crazy strong. I do want to see a couple more support cards for this. Maybe we'll get Yellow Baroque's Works one day, and if we do, I see this leader being very strong. Being able to ramp and heal consistently is very, very strong. We're going to see that in 08 with Pudding, but for now, I think that Croc just struggles to compete because its leader effect is just okay. I think it needs a different leader effect. Next, we got Red Green Luffy, and I think I'm going to put this in fun but not competitive. It did get some cool new cards. It gets new Supernova cards next set as well, and I think that might take it up a little bit more. I think that this deck is cool. It's fun. Its leader effect is pretty costly, though, but that's just my opinion. If you're brewing Red Green Luffy, let me know. I'd love to hear what you have cooking. Also, if you're not subscribed by this point, make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss out on those Market Watch Mondays and all the other videos I've posted. Make sure to like the video. It helps other people see this content and really helps me out a lot. We're trying to get to 2K subscribers, and we're almost there. I really appreciate every single one of you watching this video. And yeah, we're about halfway through now, so let's just go ahead and get through the rest of it. Magellan, fun but not competitive. This leader is just kind of okay. I think that it's cool, but it just needs more, you know, it really just needs more pieces. Next we have Smoker, and I think this is also fun but not competitive. It is a black removal based deck, yes, but the leader effect is just power creep now. Making your leader gain an extra 1,000 attack for just your turn for an attack is not powerful enough to make it meta anymore. The cards you can play in this deck can help make up a meta deck, as we've seen in decks like Sakazuki and Moria being the Navy package, but that leader effect kind of makes it struggle. Next we got Z, and I want to say this is also fun but not competitive. Just very costly leader effect. Purple black has been a cool color combo all the time, but King is definitely a big deck that's going to do it right for once. Next we got Green Odin, also fun but not competitive. It got a couple new cards this set and next set, I believe, to help out with the red Green Odin. So inherently, if they're green cards, they go in this deck. Super cool, definitely a fun leader, but I think it's just power crept at this point, as well as Kinemon. Kinemon is pretty cool. That new Hiyori actually goes crazy in Kinemon because you can play it on turn 2 for 3 Dawn and then play a 5-cost. Really, really strong, if you ask me. However, I think that it's just lacking right now. Green kind of can't stand up to removal unless you're Uta specifically. Like Uta being able to pump out so many bodies and also generate so much advantage is what makes it so good. Next, we got Black Luffy. Also going to be saying fun but not competitive. I think this leader effect is not great, but prove me wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I just don't think the leader effect is great. I think that if you're wanting to play a black removal deck, play Moria, play Sokka. Next we got Film Shanks. Trash. I don't get this leader, man. Like, it's okay, it's cool, but like the purple film cards are not good, and that's kind of what makes this leader trash. Next, we got Isho, also fun but not competitive. I think that this could have potential one day, but now is not that day. We got Red Uta, trash. They just like these film leaders. I don't know why. They're trash. We got Green Kid. I want to say this is Rogue. This is Rogue as well. Excuse me. Just because it's Kid, man. This leader's just really strong. Being one of the first structure deck leaders, being able to swing twice like this is just crazy, and always will be. But I don't think that it can compete with a lot of these other decks, especially with removal in the room. This deck likes to hide behind a lot of blockers and 8-drop Kid, and not being able to do that kind of makes this deck suck. Next, we got Blurple Croc. This is also fun, but not competitive. Got those new cool tools, but I think that Purple Yellow Croc is better than Blue Purple Croc. Next, we got Queen, and this is definitely a rogue deck as well right now. Queen has a lot of cool tools and a lot of good... I mean, it's a cool, good leader. It's my favorite leader. I love this deck. But with heavy removal decks in the room, it's kind of hard for it to do anything. And looking at my tier list, I have realized that I have left out the 3 captains leaders. So I'm going to add those in real quick. All right, y'all, I discovered that it was more than just the 3 captains leaders. There was a whole slew of leaders that were left out for some reason. I don't know why. Sorry about that, but let's just keep on moving. Next, we got Rebecca. I also want to put this as fun but not competitive. I think that this leader is really cool. Really got a crazy infinite resource loop that you can keep going with Luffy, Sabo, Rebecca, Mancherry, a whole lot of stuff, and it can do some funny stuff, but I just think those leaders that can't swing, they're just missing something, man. And a 7-cost Luffy that can swing twice isn't it, man. It's not it. So maybe we get some more Rebecca support one day, and if we do, I think that could make this deck a lot better, but for now, it's just not. Yellow Yamato, I kind of just want to put this in trash, but because of the yellow card pool, I'm going to put it in fun but not competitive. This leader just being yellow, it has access to stronger cards than these other decks do, so I don't like the leader effect, though. I think it's just okay. Next, we got Nami, and I'm going to put Nami in Tier 2. I'm going to put it at the back end of Tier 2. I think that Nami's very strong with the right pilot and the right deck list. Not that the deck list very much, but with the right pilot, I think that you can win very consistently with Nami. Yeah, very strong deck, and it can always beat any deck. Nami plays a different game, right? So you have to know again how to play Nami's game to beat Nami, and if you don't, you're going to lose. Next, we got Doflamingo, and Dofi did get Edward Weevil in this set, but it's still just that fun but not competitive leader. You know, like, you can compare it to Moria, but the difference between Moria and Dofi is that Moria is just way better. We can also throw Arlong in the mix, but Arlong just kind of loses advantage. Dofi plays its card rested. Like, Moria is just infinitely better in this leader that has the Dawn attack and then pay a Dawn kind of effect to play a character. But Dofi is really cool. It does get better in 07, but we'll do another tier list for that when that rolls around. Next, we got Kuro. Fun but not competitive. Really cool leader. Just kind of ass. Doesn't have great card pool. Like, it has an okay card pool, but we need some better tools for it. Next, we got King. I think this shit's trash, man. I'm sorry. I don't know why they made this leader, dude. Like, it has 10-drop Kaido, I guess, but fuck, man. Just play purple Kaido at that point. Next, we got Sanji. Fun but not competitive. Definitely a cool leader. I'd like to see them revamp some cards to make them better for this. I guess not revamp some cards. Make some new cards to make this leader better. Next, we got Green Purple Dofi, and I'm going to put this in Rogue just because it's always decently strong, but I don't think that it stands up to anything else in the top tables or top tiers right here. I think that it's fine where it is, but if we get some more support for it, this leader's very strong. Next, we got Red Green Law, and I'm going to put this at the top end of Rogue. I know I said I wasn't ordering this, but Law is at the top end of it for sure. Definitely a strong deck. If you're a good pilot with Law, you can definitely pull out a win and go all the way at a regional or something like that. But with all these removal decks in the room, it's kind of hard for it to do that. Next, we got Lin. Fun but not competitive. I think that Katakuri just does it better. Has access to the same card pool. Way better leader effect. Yeah, that's just kind of it. Next, we got Blue Croc, and I'm going to put this in fun but not competitive. No, I'm going to put this in Rogue as well. Blue Croc always has that kind of place. It's a cool removal deck. Has consistency. All that stuff you need. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it just falls short. You could definitely see it at a regional or something, though, and if you're not prepared for it, you could get your ass kicked. Next, we got Ivankov, and I'm going to put this in fun but not competitive. We got some cool new cards for it in EB, but they're just not great. I think a leader that has a low hand size at all times just makes it very hard to win the game. Not being able to counter consistently and stuff like that, or not always having the pieces you need. Next, we got Trash Suzuki. Go in the trash next to the rest of the trash leaders. I think this leader sucks. Next, we got Katakuri. This is definitely going to be tier 1 as well, and I'm going to put it in the back end of tier 1. I think that it's very strong, but I will say that some of these other leaders just kind of have a really good matchup into it. Black Yellow Luffy being a leader that stays very low on life at all times. Can't be susceptible to their 7 and 10 cost Charlotte Linlins. Also, doesn't really matter what you do with their life. They're going to take it and get rid of it anyway. Like, it kind of just has a really good cat matchup. They play Sabos that can't be Amarud. I think that it just has a good matchup into cat. I think that it Cat has a good matchup into Uta as long as they see the right triggers and stuff, but Uta can put up a lot of board presence and also swing multiple times to close out the game very quickly. I think that Anel, just being the cockroach that it is, if Cat doesn't see the right triggers, Anel can beat him. And then Sokka, of course, beats him. And then Hody just sits down and wins automatically. Next, we got Arlong. Fun, but not competitive. I was already talking about it. It's just that leader gimmick, the same that's Dofi and Moria. And I think that you just lose too much advantage with Arlong. I think there's a couple leaders like that. And one of them is Bello Betty. Like, you just lose too much hand advantage. And that's kind of the takeaway from this leader. Next, we got Garp. Fun, but not competitive. I think that it's cool. Color combo's cool. Leader effect is all right, but I think that it's missing something. Next, we got Zoro, and I'm going to put this right up here with Law. Definitely in the back end of Rogue. I think that it's good. I think that it's always got a chance with the right pilot and right deck list to put some kind of presence in the meta, but I think that's just kind of struggling right now. Red as a whole is struggling right now against all these removal decks and stuff like that, but maybe we'll see the resurgence of Red with the new Marco leader. Speaking of Red, we got Ace, and I'm going to put this also in fun, but not competitive. I think the Ace, like, it's fine. I think that it's just missing something as well. Like, it's cool going into these removal-based decks, playing a leader that doesn't play a lot of bodies and kind of just plays its own game with events. But I think that it just lacks when it comes to certain decks and certain matchups, such as Black playing cards like Sabo and Borsalino. I mean, Saboing your whole field against something like Ace that plays a removal strategy of KOing kind of hurts. Next, we got Blurple Kaido. Fun, but not competitive. Cool. Whatever. Needs some more tools. And I'm going to put the same thing for Purple Kaido. It's cool. It just needs more tools. And we get that stuff in 08, so definitely watch out for those leaders. They might be playable. Next, we got Red Luffy. Fun, but not competitive. Really cool. If you're Straw Hat fan, you're trying to get into the game, you want to play something casual, play this deck. It's really fun. Next, we got Black Yellow Mom. Fun, but not competitive. I think that this leader is strong, but not strong enough. So maybe we'll see something better. We have a better Black Yellow leader. I'd like to see what else they could do with Black Yellow. But yeah, for now, Big Mom is not it. Its leader effect's pretty expensive. Next, we got Red Purple Kid. This is also fun, but not competitive. Definitely some cool things you can do with this leader. You can make him really, really big, but at the end of the day, that's not saying much. And then we have Red Purple Law. Tier 1 contender right here behind Sokka. Gonna be, in my opinion, the second most represented deck in the room. I think that people are really turning onto this deck. A lot of Sokka players are probably going to turn onto Law because they think it's a superior option. However, I think Sokka's just better. But Law is definitely a lot more fun to play, in my opinion, in testing and stuff like that. And I think that it has some really cool plays. Got a lot of support in EB. And yeah, you're going to have to watch out for this deck and know how to play against it. Because if you don't, you're going to get your ass kicked. Next, we got Rob Lucci. Fun, but not competitive. We do get new CP cards next set. Maybe that'll help this leader out. But I think if you're wanting to play Rob Lucci, play the new Lucci leader. It'll be really good. Next, we got Red Purple Luffy, and this is also fun but not competitive. It's just kind of suffering right now. You know, I love this leader, and I do think that it will get better as time goes, just being a generic leader. But for now, I think that it's just struggling. Next, we got Blue Luffy. I'm also going to put this in fun but not competitive. It's just another... It's like Blue Croc, but I think that the leader effect's just worse. So you kind of play a similar game plan, but... yeah, it's whatever. Sabo, fun but not competitive. I think this leader has a lot of potential down the line, but for now, it's kind of just missing that synergy between the red and black cards for me. Same with Bello Betty. I think that this is also fun but not competitive. It loses way too much advantage from its hand, and that's kind of where this deck struggles. If it had a way to replenish that a little easier, I think that it'd be really strong, but for now, it's kind of where we're sitting. And then next we have Rosanate. Also fun but not competitive. I think that we just need some better cards for it because this leader is really cool. But that's about all I got for you. I tried to keep this short, concise, and not talk about the leaders too much. And this is the shortest market watch we've ever made. So this is the shortest tier list I've ever made. So that's a plus, I guess. But if you like this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below if you think I messed up this tier list or anything. Again, this is just my thoughts and opinion. If you have a different opinion, let me know down in the comments below. And make sure to go check out Dueling Guard's new stuff. Use code GumGumTCG and go check out yesterday's market watch on EB01 prices. And I will see you all on the next one. Peace.